Welcome back to Hudson Appliance again. We're down here in our downstairs kitchen once again because we're going to do a little more grilling. There was a little more I wanted to talk about that we couldn't fit in just a half an hour, so we're going to do a whole nother show on the grill. Today we're going to do a couple real cool, real simple dishes that are great to do outside. You don't even have to heat up your house at all. Everything can be done right outside. We're going to grill some potatoes. We have some really cool potatoes here. I'll get into those a little bit, but we're going to very simply grill those. We're going to do some grilled vegetables. We've got some zucchini, some red pepper. We're going to take this onion here, and I'm going to show you a kind of neat way to do it. We're going to pour some balsamic vinegar right on top of it. We're going to make it into like a cup, so it's going to hold on to the vinegar a little bit. We're going to take our tomatoes here and make a grilled bruschetta with some nice fresh basil that I picked out of my garden this morning. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to make some turkey tips, like beef tips, but they're going to be turkey tips. But they're actually not going to be turkey tips because I went to buy turkey this morning and it was very expensive. So we're going to do chicken. I have boneless chicken breast, but this is the exact same thing you do with some turkey. First thing I'm going to do is get ready for our bruschetta. So I'm going to take these nice on the vine tomatoes, pull off the vine. I rinsed these already quickly. I'm going to cut them in half just like this. And what we're going for here is we're essentially making a little tomato cup. I'm going to take my finger and just stick it in here and pop out the seeds and the pulp so that we end up with just a beautiful little piece of tomato here. Now don't go ahead and right away throw away all this liquid. All this liquid and all this pulp would be great if you're making a tomato sauce, throw it right into your sauce. But if you're making a stock or you're making a sauce for anything, or you can throw this into some barbecue sauce or throw this on top of some fish, you're going to have some seeds in there, but if you have really nice tomatoes, you're going to have really nice tomato flavor. So I like to just use my finger. So the cool thing about these is we're going to I'm going to salt them relatively liberally, right on the top. And then sugar. We're going to take some sugar to make them even a little bit more sweeter than they are naturally. And you'll see when we go to grill these, we're going to put them on the grill, we're going to put them on the top shelf, we're going to let them cook nice and slowly so that the flesh cooks, but it's going to capture all the juices inside. So I'm going to stick these over here and just clean up the spot on my cutting board. I'll clean that stuff up later. Now for our onion. What we're going to do with our onion, you've seen me cut an onion before, and I always say cut off this end but leave the root end on. But we're not going to dice this onion, it's going to end up being in rings. So we want to take this root end off this time. So then we're just going to go ahead and peel it. If you want, you can make a little cut in it, but we'll see. It looks like this peel is going to come off relatively easily. Relatively easily, I said. So we want to just remove this peel. You can use the edge of your knife if it doesn't come off super easy. Just grab it kind of like that. Things always go much easier when the camera's not rolling. So we get that nice and peeled, wipe it off. And what we're going to do with these is these are going to be a balsamic onion. I want to take this and get rid of the rest of that skin. I'm going to cut them into rings that are going to be about half an inch or so. And so everything we're doing here is that mise en place that you keep hearing me mention. It's having everything in its place, getting everything ready before we go outside and grill. So these I purposely cut, and we're going to put on there like they're like this, like those tomatoes are going to be, kind of like a cup that's going to help hold on to the vinegar we're going to put on there. So those can come over to our tray. Next, we'll cut our other vegetables. So for grilling, I love zucchini, I love summer squash, I love eggplant, any of these things like this that we can cut into a plank, kind of like that. Now the thicker you do them, the longer they're going to take to cook, the more meaty they're going to be. If you do them a little more thinly, they're going to cook more quickly. You have to be careful that they don't get too flimsy, but I'm going to take these, stick that just right there for now, take a red pepper, cut the top off, and the bottom. This part's no good, but this is perfectly good. Take the tip of my knife, follow down inside, and just get my knife in there and go through and follow the pepper. Moving my hand now so I don't cut towards myself. just like so, and you get rid of all the ribs, and you have a nice, I was going to say boneless. It is boneless. It would be weird if there was a bone in there, but a nice hunk of red pepper that has no seeds, has none of the pith in there. So this, I'm just going to leave in, let's cut them about an inch. That's a little smaller. So I'm going to take all these pieces, take a little salt, a little fresh ground black pepper, and some extra virgin olive oil. I'm just going to sprinkle some of this on top. Now you could do this in a bowl if you want. I'm just doing it on the cutting board because my mom's not here to tell me I can't. So we're going to toss this around a little bit. And then these are ready to go as well. So I'm going to take these, and they can come over and go on our tray with our other mise en place. All right, I'll move these down here. Now the last thing we're going to do before we get ready to go outside is we're going to cut up our chicken or turkey. So I've got these nice big chicken breasts, nice and thick. I'm going to use 2 of these. I'm going to use the thickest ones I can because I want a nice thick chicken tip or turkey tip. Technically it's not a tip, but it's just hunks of meat. But if you wanted to technically be a tip, you know, that could be a tip off the end of a turkey breast or a chicken breast. But I'm going to cut them relatively big and leave them in hunks. Now when we go to cook these, we're just going to throw them right on the grill, but these would be great on a skewer too. All right. And you want to figure when you're planning something like this with this many different items that we're going to end up serving, you want to think that if you have about 5 or 6 ounces of protein of our chicken or turkey per person, that's going to be a pretty good amount for normal people. But you know your guests better than I do. If they're big eaters, then you need to have a little bit more food. Now I have a bowl here that has just a little bit of just barely warm water. And I'm going to sprinkle salt in here. And I'm going to add some maple syrup to this, but more importantly, I want to dissolve this salt. So what we're going to do is we're going to brine our chicken tips before we put them on. And what brining is, it's sticking something in a solution that has salt in it. And it can have tons of other ingredients, but the most important thing is that it's water with salt dissolved in it. And what's going to happen, and I think I've talked about this before, is the salt is going to go from the area of highest concentration to the area of lowest. So it's going to force itself into our chicken. As it goes into the chicken, it's also going to bring some of the liquid in with it, which is going to make this chicken breast, which has almost no fat, much more forgiving while we have it out there on the grill. So we're going to try not to overcook it, but if you overcook it a little bit, it's not the end of the world. So I have raw chicken hands, so I'm not going to put in my maple syrup, but I'm going to put in about 1/4 cup of maple syrup after I wash my hands, get this cleaned up, and then we'll get ready to head out on the grill. All right, welcome back. So cleaned up a little bit here. I added our maple syrup, which in this case I'm using imitation maple syrup. I am a huge proponent of real maple syrup. I love it on my pancakes. I love it on my ice cream, which is, you should definitely try that. But for this, because it's very expensive, I'm just going to use the imitation stuff. We're going to get some sweetness and a little bit of flavor. But I want to show you our potatoes. So I got a mix of potatoes. So they're all different sizes, and you can see those here. But one of the important things about cooking potatoes on the grill or anywhere else is you want them to be the same size, or at least similar in size. So I'm going to take these larger potatoes, which I've gone through and washed a little, just rinsed off, because they do grow in dirt. And I'm just going to cut these ones in half. These are a Yukon Gold potato. You can see beautiful gold flesh on those potatoes. We cut those in half. That way they have roughly the same cooking time as our other potatoes. But I do want to show you our other potatoes. Let's move these out of the way. So we have a red skin potato, which is a normal red potato that we're used to, and I'll cut into it. These don't have to get cut, but you can see the difference in the color of the flesh. But these are way cool. You got to check these out. These are purple potatoes. So if you look on the inside. Look at that. Look at my knife. Look at the color of that, and I can get it on there. So there's a ton of this purple pigment in there that stays. It doesn't change color, and it tastes just like a normal potato. They didn't grow under power lines. There wasn't anything weird. This is an actual variety of potato. But over the last 50 to 100 years, we've been so programmed that a potato has to look perfect. It has to be perfect and round, and it should have a nice white or golden flesh or whatever. But this is one of the things that Mother Nature created for us, and it's awesome. So it's cool. I think it's wonderful that we're getting back to these. So I'm going to stick these in here. Now the other thing I want to do before we go out is I'm going to take this bread. I had a nice French baguette. I'm just going to spread them out a little bit. So this is what we're going to put our tomato on after we cook our tomato, and a little bit of that fresh basil. I'm going to take some extra virgin olive oil and just sprinkle a little over the tops of them. Like so. And I'm going to hit them with some fresh ground pepper and a little bit of kosher salt. Just like so. I'm going to take and just toss them around a little bit so that they get coated. And then these are going to go back on our plate. And we'll head outside. So I'm going to get all this stuff. I've got all my mise en place ready to go. This could sit out on the counter for a couple hours. This whole thing can go right in your refrigerator. So this is all stuff you can do before you even go outside and turn on your grill. I'm going to go outside and turn on the grill, so I'll meet you outside. All right, welcome outside. We have another beautiful day here. Our grill is nice and hot. First thing I want to do is clean the grill. So I cranked it up. It's on high. I want to let it heat up real well. There's some stuff on there from the last time we cooked on it. So I'm going to grab my brush and just brush it down. What you want to do is just get rid of any food that might be stuck there for two reasons. One, think about the last time you cooked on your grill and all the sorts of weird bacteria and stuff that could grow in that food that might be sitting there since then. And also because it's not going to taste good if it's all burnt up. So scrape it off. Got a hunk of paper towel. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on there. It doesn't have to be extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is expensive, so I usually wouldn't use it, but that's what I have near me right now. So I want to take this and fold it up, and I'm just going to go over and give it a quick coat. This is going to do two things. You can see all the brown stuff or the black stuff it took off. That's stuff that's not going to end up on your food, but it's also going to give a little non-stick coating to our grill. So once again, we're outside. Got my mise en place here with me. You want to be careful, and you want to think about food safety. You don't want to leave your food sitting out a long time. I know I said this in the last grilling episode we did, but have your stuff out, get it on the grill. Our chicken tips are in the refrigerator, so those are still staying cold. We want to keep food out of the temperature danger zone. First thing we're going to cook is our potatoes. They're going to take the longest to cook, and we want to cook them slowly. I'm going to take them, I'm not going to season them, I'm not going to oil them, I'm not going to do anything to them at all. I'm going to put them right on the top rack of the grill here. And these are going to cook the whole time we're cooking our other stuff. Now if your grill's already clean, you can put these on right when you light your grill and let it preheat with them on, because essentially your grill is serving as an oven. So I'm not going to use all these because we're not going to have enough room, and we don't have a huge crew here to feed today.